Doing is factoring a trinomial. So what you did for homework the last time was multiplying a binomial times a binomial. So I'm just going to give you an example first. So let's say we just had x plus 3 times x plus 4, and we multiplied this out by distributing. And we got a trinomial. We've combined the like terms. All right, let's turn that off. So this is what we've just finished doing. So now what you're going to learn today is, because remember, factors are things that you multiply together to get a product. So this was our product right here. Okay, that's the product after we multiplied, which came out most of the time to be a trinomial. Now, these are called factors, because we multiplied those factors together to get the product. So now you're going to be going in reverse order. So you will be given the problem, and now you have to determine how do you go back to the factors. Okay, so we're actually working in reverse order. So you will be given the trinomial, and you have to say what times what same two factors, not same, but what factors gave you this product. All right, so that's why it's called factoring. Okay, it's called factoring. So we need to come up with the factors. Now, remember on page 27 in your old packet, how I had you guys do this X method, and we had a number at the top and a number at the bottom, and we had to figure out what factors would give us the number at the top when we multiply, what would give us the sum at the bottom when we add. Remember doing that lesson? Okay, so now we're good. Thank you, Bradford. So now what we're going to do is take this right here, and I'm going to tell you now how to place the numbers. So in question number 1, and this is referring to page 13 of your packet, it was 3x squared. Okay, this is question number 1 on page 13. So we're going to take this problem now and come up with the factors. Okay, the two binomials that would equal to 3x squared plus 7x plus 2. So first, before you do that, you have to know where to place the numbers. So at the top, okay, let me step back 1 second. Each term has a letter attached to it. So we really call this a quadratic expression. The first term is called your A term. The second term, it goes right in alphabetical order, is called your B term. And the third term is your constant. That is your C term. Okay. So in this case, this method will work for just a trinomial, where specifically this is an x squared. Okay, that's important because we're only doing x squareds, right? Because that's what we considered a quadratic equation. So at the top, in order to get this number here at the top, that is going to be A times C. Right? So that means we're going to take this 3 and we're going to multiply it by 2. And that gives us what? 6. That's the number that goes at the top. So that is how you get the number that goes at the top, by multiplying the A and the C together. At the bottom is your B term. Okay, and you can almost think bottom B that goes at the bottom is just 7. Right? So now what we need to set up is what times what will give us 6. What same two factors will give us 6, but when we add them together will give us 7. What are those factors?
6 and 1.
6 and 1. It doesn't matter if you say 6 and 1, 1 or 6. These are where your factors go. So on each side of the X is where you actually place your factors. And let me move this over a little bit because I'm going to do something else. So don't put it directly, don't write the word factors directly under 1. Okay, so there's a factor over there and a factor on this side. Okay, so that means what times what will give us 6 at the top, but when we take the sum of them, will give us 7 at the bottom. We got it, 6 and 1, right? Now, once you have your factors, you divide your factors by the A term. Okay, so I'm going to take these factors, my A term I already know is 3, and I'm going to divide both of these numbers by 3. Okay, you reduce if possible. Sometimes you can reduce, sometimes you cannot. In this case, I cannot reduce 1/3. Can I reduce 6 over 3? All right, and we want to have two numbers, so we're going to write it as 2 over 1. Okay, you want to have two numbers. So 6 over 3 will reduce to 2 over 1. So just don't write a whole number. If it comes out to be a whole number, then the denominator is 1. Okay, so now we got it all set up. We're ready to write our factors. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So now we call it bottoms up. So you start from the bottom and go up. So you're going to say this one right here. Okay, it looks like I messed it up. But that one, you start at the bottom and say 1x plus 2. So this number at the bottom, guys, will be your x number. Typically, I don't write it there, but I just want to see it for teaching purposes. This is 1x plus 2. When I go on this side, this will be 3x plus 1. And now you have your factors. Okay. Now, once you do this, because it obviously takes me a little time to explain how to get the numbers, once you actually do about 3 or 4 of these, it goes very quickly, right? So now on page 13, they don't ask you for both. If you read the directions, it says factor each trinomial below. Find one of the factors in each column. So they're not going to be matched together. Find one of the binomials in each column. Notice the letter next to the factor and then number, and of course you will write that letter at the bottom. So see if you see an x plus 2 and see if you see a 3x plus 1 faster. All right, so let's take a look at number 2. I'm going to write down number 2, which is 2x squared plus 5x plus 3. Okay, I'm going to make my x. My a times c goes at the top. So that's going to give us what? 6. And what goes at the bottom? 5. Okay. 2 and 3. All right. So 2 and 3, or you can write 3 and 2. Doesn't matter. Okay. Then we divide it by the a term. What's my a term? 2. Okay. We reduce 2 over 2 to 1 over 1. Okay, and we cannot reduce 3 over 2. All right, we start from the bottom up. Remember, the bottom number is your x, so this will be x plus 1. Bottom up over here, 2x plus 3. And if you fold it out, okay, like multiplied it back out, you're going to end up with 2x squared plus 5x plus 3. Okay, so I'm going to let you do the finding on the paper. I'm just going to move on to the next example. You can do that later. Okay, let's do number 3. Number 3 is 3x squared minus 16x plus 5. Okay, make my x. What number goes at the top? 15. 3 times 5. What number goes at the bottom? Negative 16. So let's think about this. Obviously, one number has to be negative and one number has to be positive, right? Because I got a negative 16 down here. So I'm looking for some factors that will give me 15 that will add to negative 6. Okay, so negative 1 and negative 15. Divided by what? What's my A term? 3. All right. Cannot reduce negative 1/3. I can reduce negative 15 over 3 to what? All right, negative 5 over 1. So now when I write these, I'm going to write it as, when I start from bottom up, 3x minus 1 and x minus 5. So when it's negative, it's just going to be a minus sign in your binomial. That's it. All right. Start from the bottom. That's your x number. So 3x minus 1, positive x minus 5. Okay, we're going to do one more. Number 4. All right, number 4 says 7x squared minus 9x plus 2. Okay? What number goes at the top? 14. What goes at the bottom? All right, so let's think. Okay, let's think. What times what will give you 14 but add up to negative 9? Yes. All right, negative 7, negative 2. Do we agree? It'll give me a positive 14 and adds up to a negative 9. What do I divide by? Uh-oh, just lost my. All right, so 7. Right? I can reduce the negative 7 over 7 to negative 1 over 1. Right? Who can tell me what the factors would be? Start from the bottom up. What would the factors be? My two factors here. Good. All right. So we'll have x minus 1 and 7x minus 2. Like I said, once you do several of these, it actually gets a lot easier. Okay, a lot easier. Now, I am going to show you how your calculator can also help you with factors. So go to the very front of your calculator, and at the bottom of, at the front of your calendar, at the very bottom of your calendar, and let me see, can I pull it up for you so you'll know what I might not have it. Yeah, I do. Okay, here we go. Right down here, I'm going to show you how to do this. So let's say your number at the top was a big number, like 72, all right? And you had to think of some factors that equal to whatever, it doesn't matter. In this case, let's say factors of had to equal to 27, okay? So this is how your calculator can help you out. So hit your y equals key. Everybody hit y equals. So that a times c number, put it in this way. Put it in like 72 divided by x. So this would be your number at the top of your x. You just say that number divided by x. Now, you also have to do this, because what you're telling the calculator to do is give me the factors of 72, but I want you to also give me the column that will add up to the middle number. So your calculator can do all of that for you. So hit your x key. When you go down to y sub 2, hit x. Okay, and then you're going to hit the plus sign. Then you're going to hit alpha, and it tells you right here, alpha, trace, and enter. And that will bring you that y sub 1 right here. So you're telling them to add up the columns together. And so when you go to your table, everybody go to the table. So here are all your factors of 72. They actually give them to you. Okay, so if I said the middle term has to equal to 27, this is like your middle term. So you could just look here and say, okay, if my middle term has to equal to 27, I'm using 3 and 24 as my factors. If my middle term has to equal 22, then you're using 4 and 18 as your factors. If my middle term was 18, it gives you the factors, 6 and 12. So your calculator can help you get those numbers that equal to the middle number. Okay, so again, let me just go over it one more time. This number is your AC number divided by x. Then you hit x plus alpha trace enter. And now when you go This column right here is your middle term, and it'll give you what the two factors are. You can't get any easier than that. Okay, so let's do one like that. So we stopped at question number what? 4. So let's do number 5, and let's use the calculator just for fun, even though we might even know it. All right, so for question number 5, oh yeah, that's an easy one. All of them are actually easy. They're not really that hard, but I just want you to get a feel of what you're doing. All right, we'll still do it. 6u squared plus 5u plus 1. So at the top of my x is a 6. That's my a times c. And here's 5. Now, we already know what the factors are, 2 and 3, but I just want you to see it on a calculator, okay? So hit your y equals. And in your y equals, you're going to put 6 divided by x. And then in your y sub 2, you're going to hit your x key, the plus sign, and then alpha trace enter, which will give you that. Okay? Now, go to your table. And you're going to have 3 columns this time. So you're looking for, in this column where this bottom number is 5, and it should give you the two factors that you should be putting in to your x. Did everybody see that on their calculator? Because the numbers are not going to always be this easy. All right, they'll get a little bit bigger, and you might say, oh my gosh, I can't think of what times what gives me this number. Okay.